Hi everybody, it's Lindsay and today I am back with another video on my cosmetology school experience, and today I will be talking about my state board experience. So if you are interested in going through this journey with me, then you can just stay tuned. So today I'm going to be talking about the steps I took on how I applied for my license and my state board experience when I went to go take my exams. So the very first thing I did was on December 13th, which was my last day of class, I actually registered with the Department of Licensing through LARA, which is where you apply, you do your application fee and you apply for your license, which is good for the first 2 years, and that fee was $63. And after that, you will get an email stating that you are now registered, and then you can go on to the next step, which is to schedule your state board exam with PSI, which is the testing company. So on the PSI website, you are actually able to go on there and pick out where you want to take your test, what day you want to take it, and what time you want to take it. So I actually took mine on in January, and that is because when I went to register with the state, for some reason they were missing some information of mine, so I had to keep calling the state and PSI to see where the gap was, where my information was missing. And it was almost like a month later I found out, like, basically they were just missing my social security number. So make sure y'all stay on top of the state and PSI as far as your information and making sure they have all of that. And as far as I know, out of all the girls who graduated, I was the only one who had this issue. Nobody else had it. And hopefully none of you all have it either, because it was very nerve-wracking. But so after I got all that taken care of, I went and scheduled my practical exam. So you have to take your practical exam first before you can even schedule to take your theory exam. And I scheduled to take mine on January the 16th in Southfield, Michigan, which is an hour away from me, and my test was at 9 a.m. And when I scheduled to take my test, you have to pay for both your practical and theory at the same time, which for me was $167. And everything I'm telling you right now, like, you will learn that once you get closer to your graduation date. Your instructor should go over all this information with you. But like I said, so I scheduled to take mine on January 16th, Southfield, Michigan at 9 a.m. I had to be there at 8:30 in the morning. And once I got to the testing site, I just went up to whatever floor it was on, and we had to wait in the lobby. There was about 5 other girls that was out there waiting to take the test. So there was 6 of us all together. There was actually supposed to be 7, but one girl forgot her ID, so she was unable to take the test. And really all you need when you take your test is your ID and your kit. That is all you need. You don't need to take anything else. They did have a place for you to hang your coats and purses if you needed to, but if you have somebody that comes with you, just leave your stuff with them. So once you get into the room, they have you sign in next to your name, and then you take your kits and you go to the station that they have assigned you, and you wait for instructions. You do not do anything until they tell you to. So all the stations, they were lined up in one row, and they were facing a wall, so you couldn't even look, you couldn't see like anybody else but the person next to you, like out your peripheral. That was it. They did have sinks in there for you to wash your mannequins, but that was it. They did not provide you with towels, mannequin stands. Like, if you forgot anything, like, you forgot it. It was too bad. So the services that we had to provide were a manicure, a facial, chemical services, which was like the lightener, color, and relaxer. We did a perm, you had to do a haircut, and you had to do a blow dry curl. And all of these services were timed. I do not remember how much time we were given for each service, but every service had at least a 2-minute setup time, which was you literally took your bag out of your kit and set it on your station. So when it came to my kit, I did not take the duffel bag that I was given at school. Our teachers actually recommended us to go get a 18-gallon tote, like the little plastic tubs, and do that because it was just easier. Because when you have your duffel bag or a suitcase, some people bring that, you have to make sure every zipper on there is closed or you will get marked down for that. So I just took a plastic tote. It didn't matter what color it was, if it was clear or not. It was just easier to pop the top off and put the top back on. For your trash, you have to bring your own trash bag, but I would say get one of those little like laundry baskets and put your trash bag inside of there. It's more sturdier than trying to tape the trash bag to your station because it can fall off. So our teachers also provided us with those, and we took those with us to state board also. And everything in your kit for state board has to be labeled. So we had we had the 2-gallon size Ziploc bags, we had the 1 gallon size bags, and we had the quart size bags. And everything in your kit had to be labeled. So on the big baggie, like the 2-gallon bag, you would put pre-sanitized implements for facial or blow dry curl, whatever service you were doing, that had to be labeled on the bag. And then say for that service, if you needed like the end wraps for your perm or the cotton swabs for your facial, swipe that off, you had to have those in a separate bag labeled pre-sanitized cotton or something like that. I will insert pictures of my bags and how I had to label stuff. Everything had to be labeled. Your barbicide had to be labeled, your nail polish remover, shampoo, conditioner, everything had to be labeled. So make sure you label that. Our teachers were nice enough to actually print out labels for us so we could just stick them on there. Some of them I did mess up, so I had to write it on. They gave us some blank labels that we could write on, so that was very helpful. And after you completed each service, you have to raise your hand. The instructor will come by, check your work, and then tell you either to start cleaning up or to sit down and wait for instructions for the next service. And after you were done at the very end, they give you, I think it was like 10 minutes to clean up your station, wipe it down, and put everything back how they had it originally. And then at the very end, they tell you to sit down and raise your hand. And y'all, I forgot to raise my hand. So the lady literally just stood there and stared at me and was like, the last thing I said was to raise your hand. So I was like, and raised my hand to let her know I was done. But honestly, by the time I was at blow dry curl for my state board exam, I was just over it. I was ready to be done with my test. I was tired. I was hungry. I had been up since like probably 6 something in the morning because Southfield was an hour drive for me. So once you finish your exam, they tell you how you can check to see if you passed or not, and basically you just go back on the PSI website where you went to schedule your test in the beginning, and it'll tell you on there if you passed or failed. And they don't give you any of your scores, so you don't know what you scored low in, what you messed up on. They don't even say anything to you about your scores when you're in there. They just basically say, thank you for letting me, be your test person or whatever for today, and that's it. And literally probably within, because when I left, me and my friend went and got some food, and that was probably like 10-15 minutes away. By the time we got to the restaurant, I looked up my score online and it said that I passed. So after you find out that you can pass, probably within 24 to 48 hours, I'll say, you can go back on PSI and schedule to take your theory exam. So when it came to my theory exam, you basically, just like you did for practical, you go on PSI, you figure out which location you want to go to, what day you want to take it, and what time you want to take it. And for theory, it was a lot more places I could go. but I went back to Southfield to take my exam, but I went to a different location in Southfield. And when you go in there, there are people testing for all different types of things. It was like I want to say like insurance or like realtors. Like it was, people are doing all different types of tests. Everybody's not in there for cosmetology. So when you go take your test for theory, make sure you take 2 forms of ID. I did not know this, so I only brought one, and the lady was like, you need 2. So I had to run back out and find my friend to get my wallet to get another form of ID. So take 2 forms of ID. They will take a picture of you once you get, when they like sign you in, they're gonna take a picture of you. It's not anything like a formal picture, nothing. It's just, I guess, for their records. I'm not really sure. But my test was online. So you go in a room and it's like a computer lab, and there are walls up on each side, so you cannot see the person next to you. You can only have the computer in front of you, and they give you a piece of paper and pencil for you to write on if you need to write anything down. They give you a login, and you log on, and you basically, the test is timed. I don't remember how long it was, but it only took me like, I think, an hour or so to complete maybe. And the test was 110 questions. And honestly, all the tests are different. Like my friend T, she said most of her questions were like common sense questions, like stuff we should already know. But y'all, my test was literally all chemical services, which is the stuff that I did not study for. So when it came to me testing, like I really had to take my time, read the questions, and some of the wording was different than what I learned in school. So I basically had to try and break down each word to figure out what it meant, or just do process of elimination by the answers of what best I felt fit. And then at the end, you are able to go back and change any answers if you need to. So there was actually one question I had to go back and change, because I realized later on after answering another question that I put the wrong answer, and I was like, I have to go back and change this. This could be my make it or break it, pass or fail question. And I went back, changed that, and then I submitted my answers, and it tells you right then and there like if you passed or failed. And I did pass. I actually passed both of my tests on the first try, so I was super excited. And then after that, they tell you that you should be receiving your license within 2 weeks in the mail, and I think mine came actually in about 1 week. So I got my license in the mail. And so I would say when you are going to take your test, just go in knowing that you got this. Like, I know you're probably gonna be freaking out, because I was freaking out, but it's really not that hard once you think about it, because these tests, you've done them over and over in class. If you pass your exam, then you can pass like state boards. So don't go in there nervous, just go in there thinking positive, and you will be all right. So that is about it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, you can just leave them below, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.